Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the next weekly general with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, when I went into my intuition, what I actually saw was a gymnast, and she was performing all of these amazing feats, and you know, like they do. And then there was one point where she kind of stopped and had to really compose herself. It was obviously a trick that she'd either only just recently learned, but I could feel like the sense of not apprehension, because it wasn't like she was worried, but she knew this was something she had to pay attention to. And what I got from that was this: the message was, only if you've done the work, right? So whatever this skill or this thing that she was going to attempt was, it was something that there were a lot of preliminary stages that came before. So you wouldn't attempt this trick if you were a newbie. You wouldn't attempt this trick if you were inexperienced, and you know, even if you didn't have a certain level of strength or experience, you wouldn't try this trick. So that's the message that I got this week. So whatever it is that you're hoping to do, whatever it is that you're hoping to launch, whatever it is that you feel ready to do, like, you know, everyone's like, yeah, fucking, Mercury's direct, we're going for it. You know, Mars in Aries has got everybody, you know, fired up and pepped up and like, you know, which is great because we've all got the energy, the passion, the drive to go for something, right? Especially wherever Mars is in your personal chart, or rather wherever Aries is in your personal chart. However, just because Mercury's going direct doesn't necessarily mean that you have that you have everything in place. Do you know what I mean? So this isn't to say that you can't launch anything this week, or even under any sort of retrograde. You always can, but the message here was very clear. Only if you've done the work, right? So there are certain tricks in gymnastics that unless you've done the work, or you can do other certain tricks and land them dead on every single time, you don't attempt the next one that's more difficult. And that's the message that's coming in for us all this week. Only if you've done the work, if you've done the preliminary behind something, if you've done the research, if you've done the sums, if you know, whatever it is that comes behind, you know, all the nitty gritty stuff that happens behind the scenes. Only if you've done that work do you attempt to move forward with whatever it is that you're hoping to do, create, or start. So that is the message this week. For our destiny card this week, we have the Chariot card, right? So what's the message behind the Chariot card? Victory and success. What's the other message behind the Chariot card? Slow your paces, right? Remember, this is a very fast card, and sometimes sometimes the Chariot message can be a message to remind you to slow down. Sometimes it is that message from the universe to say to you, you know what, young one, yes, you're going in the right way, and yes, you're going in the right place and the right direction, but it's not quite, you know, you're not quite as experienced as you would like to be. As an example, new driver, you know, goes out, starts hitting speeds of 80, 90 miles an hour. If you don't have the experience to control the car at that sort of speed, the chances are it could go horribly wrong. So this week, you need to conquer yourself before you conquer anything else. And only if you've done the work should you attempt to do or to create or to start whatever that next thing is that's happening for you. All right? So for the direction card, how do we get this assimilated, I guess is the word. Let's have a look, see. We have... all right, you saw me shuffle. You just can't make this stuff up. So we have the Chariot card again. Right, so this is a double up of the message. It's a double up of the energy. So this is basically saying whatever it is that you are starting, whatever it is that you are moving ahead with, the victory that you want, the success, the abundance, the magic that comes from completing something successfully, it's there, it's ready, and it's waiting for you. It's not going to, and I feel like the message here is it's still going to be there if you get there a little bit late. Do you know what I mean? Like if you have to slow down in order to get there in one piece so that you can actually enjoy it, then that is time well spent as far as we're concerned, right? Now, the thing is with this Chariot card, it is that very powerful, vibrant, dynamic energy. And the thing is as well, Mercury retrograde is happening in the sign of Cancer. The Chariot card represents the sign of Cancer. So this is kind of like that energy that's been building, and everybody's had to go over things. They've had to redo things, renegotiate. They've had to research, to do all of these things. And then this week, Mercury stations and it goes direct, right? And that usually, most people that know about anything about astrology will then just charge on and be like, right, Mercury's direct. Don't forget there's a shadow period of a Mercury retrograde, of any retrograde actually. And also, while the planet is newly going forward, remember it still has to cross all of the degrees that it's already passed. Now, the Chariot card, very fast, very dynamic, but it sees you having to draw in that inner energy to channel and focus your own energy. And that's what the two Sphinxes represent. The light and dark, the good and bad, the positive and negative, all of the opposing forces that go into creating a human being. This is all of the opposing forces that are within you as well. This is about finding those, not necessarily finding them, but finding a way to control those powerful, vibrant vortices of energy that are within you so that you can channel them into something that you truly want. This is about manifesting your destiny by conquering the aspects of yourself that either hold you back or the ones that are going to propel you forward. This is a very powerful week. Look at this for a double up energy. It's absolutely amazing, right? And as a direction card, the Chariot says, go, do what you need to do, right? If you're ready to, if you think you've done the work, if you've done it, if you've conquered those aspects of yourself that are maybe, that have been unconscious or maybe have been sort of lurking in the background, this is the time for you to step forward. This is the time for you to move forward. And that's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's just saying, take your time with it, right? Take your time. Don't rush in. It doesn't all have to be at once. It's not kind of like well, if it doesn't happen this week, that Chariot energy is well and gone. Do you know what I mean? It's like the eclipses. They unpack over a certain period of time because it's an energy that will unfold. And this is what I kind of feel from this week. It could be a very fast, a very powerful, very dynamic week, but you might find as well that there might be a moment where you have to say to yourself, right, okay, let's bring it in. Let's take a moment. Let's think about what we're doing. Just like the gymnast, she really, she was doing all these amazing, and then there came a moment where it was just like, vroom, and she brought herself down, and it was like as if to say, I know I can do this, but I've had to do a lot of work in order to be able to do it. So I'm going to pay attention to doing what I need to do in front of me. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing as I'm performing this skill, this trick, because there's a chance that it could go horribly wrong. Not because I doubt myself, but because it took an immense amount of pressure, knowledge, self-understanding, self-wisdom, self-direction in order to get to the point of being able to do this trick. So only if you've done the work, and you will know what that work is. It's going to be different for every single person. This could be about your job, it could be about your relationship, it could be about your business, it could be about your finances, your money, maybe dropping a bad habit, maybe creating a new good habit, all of the above. The insight card is what's coming in this week is the strength card, right? So look at that. Here we've got the Cancerian sort of Chariot energy, which is what we're in at the moment, and by the end of this week we'll be gearing up to leave. And then as the insight card, as the card of the energy of what's coming in, we have the strength card, which represents Leo. So moving out of Cancer season and into Leo season. I just find the symmetry there absolutely amazing. So in this deck, it's actually called the Crone, but it's it's the Chariot. It's the Strength card, right? And look at that. What is the message of the Crone, right? If you look at her, she is wisdom. She is wizened because she is, and it's not necessarily about age. It's about the experiences that have shaped the crone. That's where she finds her true power, that she has seen so many things and then is therefore able to start to intuit things that are coming up. She's there, look, and in this deck she's walking side by side with the lion. She's not trying to control it or tame it by closing its jaws or any of that. She doesn't have to fight it because she literally can just put her hand on it like that, gently. I'll stand next to this, channeling all of her inner faculties, all of her inner energies and inner powers. She's tamed her emotions. She knows herself above and beyond what most people do. These opposing forces within her, she no longer needs, you know, just like the chariot doesn't have any reins, right? She doesn't even need to close the mouth of the lion, because the crone understands the wisdom that is already inherent in being still, in knowing what you've done, in knowing how far you've come, in knowing how far you are willing to go, right? And that's the other part of this as well. Like, you know, I think it's the same with gymnasts. Even though this person had trained to do this trick and, you know, they're doing it maybe in competition, they will still have to train for that trick. They'll still have to do upkeep and maintenance on it. And that's the understanding that nothing in life is ever truly an event. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when you consider like birth, right? When a woman's giving birth, yes, it's an amazing event, but it's not over. What follows is a whole at least 18 years worth of caring and nurturing that tiny little person that you've brought into the world in order to make them a well-rounded human being that can survive the harsh world. So this strength card is an insight, right? This is a reminder that yes, all of this is taking place, but here on the other side of it, this is about knowing yourself. It's about finding your inner courage, and it's about walking your path in a way that is true to who you are, but ultimately says, I have done the work. I have done all of the process. I've followed all of the processes that I needed to. I know myself now better than I ever have. And this is why I'm able to do whatever it is that I'm going to do next. Anyone that told me that I couldn't, you fucking watch me. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is that energy only ever comes in. It's like one of those moments where somebody, you can't do that. You fucking watch me. I'm going to show you that I can do that. You know how I can have that level of cocky? Because I know the level of work that's gone into it. Right? I know the level of work that I've put in to have that cockiness. So, you know, this week you're going to be finding that balance in and of yourself around your own life. It's going to be a very, very interesting week. I actually feel like we're going to see something take place on the wider world stage here. I've got a few things that come to mind, but there's too many of them. Well, I say too many of them. I think they're just too in depth, and this would be a very long video. Maybe, just maybe, I will speak about it in other things. On another note, I forgot to mention, and I'm so excited about this. I am doing a webinar with Heather from Astrology with Heather. As you've seen, we've been working on this zodiacal connections with the tarot, you know, that we've been bouncing back and forth on our channels. We are doing a donations-based webinar. So you pay whatever you want, whether it's 50p or £50, you know, any and all welcome. And we are going to be talking about literally the next 6 years, what's coming up astrologically. I will be pulling cards to make predictions. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be going probably quite deep. I know me and Heather tend to, you know, uncover quite a lot because we really bounce off of each other. So if you want to be a part of that, head on over to her website. I'm going to put a link in the description bar below. It would be amazing to have you. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And obviously, because it's not on certain platforms, we can talk about things at a deeper level as well. All right, so with that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up, what you love, what you loathe, how is this affecting you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.